that I'm going through this. Like, I've been this bitch for the last 13 months. And this baby, I don't even know him.
I can his hair.
30 months. That is the exact duration Damond managed to sustain a multi-year double life, keeping Bonita, the woman who held him down through his incarceration, completely blind to the fact that he was hiding Goddess right under her nose. He didn't just play both sides. He hosted a social gathering with Goddess inside Bonita's house, took her financial backing, finalized his release papers, and assumed he could operate both timelines indefinitely without consequence. Then, the ultimate nightmare scenario materialized on camera.
What is y'all doing, yo?
Hi, Bonita.
Y'all doing what type of time y'all on?
I'm trying to understand. Yeah, me too. No,
I'm
come on. I want to talk to you. Come on.
Man.
Come on.
What y'all doing?
The second Bonita and Goddess stepped onto the same pavement to cross-reference dates, timestamps, and locations, Damond's entire operation disintegrated in real time. Watch his immediate posture. He panics, throws water toward them, raises his voice, and desperately attempts to trigger a shouting match to obscure the facts. But instead of turning on each other, Bonita and Goddess executed the one move he never anticipated. They disregarded his outbursts, reviewed the concrete evidence, and walked off together to get a drink at a local spot. Damond was left standing on the curb, completely isolated and stripped of every excuse. He lost his primary relationship, his side arrangement, and total authority over the narrative in a single exchange. Yet the most brutal aspect of this entire collapse wasn't the initial sidewalk confrontation. It was what transpired less than 5 minutes later over a phone speaker, when Goddess delivered a response that proved Damond had been entirely outplayed at his own game.
At the tea party at his house, she was there.
A tea party.
She said my supporters at the tea party.
That was at my house.
Oh, that was at your house.
Damond's entire playbook relied on a single assumption that Bonita and Goddess would never occupy the same space long enough to compare records. Throughout his incarceration and release, Bonita functioned as his primary anchor, managing his affairs, offering emotional stability, and waiting for his papers to clear. Simultaneously, Damond was quietly building an alternative life with Goddess, keeping her hidden for 12 months while using her for hair appointments and daily companionship. Executing that level of deception required continuous micromanipulation. Every single afternoon had to be framed with contrasting explanations. If he was at Bonita's residence, he claimed to Goddess that he was handling legal paperwork. When spending time with Goddess, he assured Bonita he was running release-related errands. He engineered a delicate balance where neither woman questioned his itinerary because both believed they were the sole priority. That entire framework fractured the moment Bonita noticed he began moving different.
I didn't get a chance to even explain what it happened. Like,
You want to go have a drink?
yeah, it's a good bar down the street. You want to go to it?
Yeah, sure.
Sorry.
Behavioral shifts in long-term relationships serve as immediate indicators. Bonita didn't wait for a voluntary confession. She tracked the sudden missing hours and his defensive reactions when questioned about his whereabouts. Rather than confronting him without concrete proof, which would have allowed him room to rationalize, she went straight to the source. She located Goddess directly, completely bypassing Damond's ability to filter information. When the street confrontation unfolded, Damond's immediate instinct was physical and verbal misdirection. He stepped directly between them, escalated his volume, and threw water in their direction. That reaction was a calculated diversion aimed at turning a structured exchange of facts into a chaotic fight. If the two women were focused on arguing, they wouldn't be verifying dates, addresses, and receipts. The tactic failed immediately. Bonita introduced the most critical piece of evidence right there on the pavement, the home gathering. She didn't merely state that Damond was seeing someone else. She provided the exact address and setting. Damond had brought Goddess into Bonita's residence while Bonita was away, presenting the environment as his own. The second Goddess aligned those specifics with her own memory of that afternoon. The illusion dissolved entirely. Goddess was no longer processing vague assumptions. She was matching Bonita's account against her own personal calendar. The expression on her face shifted from confusion to complete clarity. She had spent a year believing Damond was establishing a serious foundation with her, only to discover she had been brought into another woman's home while that woman was funding his transition and waiting on his release. That specific realization transformed a potential rivalry into a unified awareness of betrayal. Rather than taking the bait, the women removed Damond from the dynamic entirely. Bonita recognized that Goddess was equally misled, while Goddess acknowledged that Bonita held the original commitment and the verified receipts. They completely ignored his shouting on the sidewalk, turned their backs while he attempted to explain himself, and made the joint decision to leave the scene together. Damond was left standing alone, watching his multi-year setup fall apart as his narrative control officially ended. Pacing the pavement alone, Damond faced a situation he was entirely unprepared for, a total absence of leverage. His authority depended entirely on keeping both women separated, but now both were sitting in the exact same vehicle, driving down the street and cross-referencing every text message and location tag from the past year. Damond pulled out his phone and made a desperate attempt at damage control, dialing Goddess to force his way back into the conversation. He didn't place the call to apologize. He called to demand answers and re-establish dominance. The moment Goddess answered, Damond aggressively questioned her location and actions, assuming she was still flustered and susceptible to manipulation. Instead, Goddess flipped the dynamic live on camera. She answered with complete detachment, making it clear she was no longer interested in his explanations. When Damond demanded to know who picked her up and where she was heading, Goddess responded with cold, calculated mockery. She refused to disclose her actual location, casually informing him she was riding with someone else and dropping a fake, dismissive address, Dude's Town, specifically to mock his lack of authority. Hearing Goddess laugh over the speaker while riding away with the exact woman he spent months hiding her from completely broke Damond's composure. Within 45 seconds, his voice shifted from demanding to total, panicked disbelief. He wasn't just losing both relationships at once. He was realizing that every statement he made to Bonita was being directly audited against every promise he made to Goddess. The speed of this collapse highlights the fatal flaw in Damond's strategy. He assumed two women tied to the same man would automatically default to petty conflict. He counted on Goddess feeling superior as the newer connection, and he expected Bonita to be too proud to speak with the other woman directly. But when Bonita redirected her focus strictly at the source of the deception, his entire defense system failed. Every minute spent in that car erased another layer of Damond's credibility. Bonita verified that the resources she provided during his incarceration were funding his routine with Goddess. Goddess verified that whenever Damond claimed to be handling personal business, he was actually living off Bonita's support inside her home. Damond's panic escalated as he began pacing the block, searching for a way to intercept them before they reached their destination. He knew that the longer they sat together, the more detailed the audit would become. When two people realize they have been systematically misled by the same individual, every past interaction gets reevaluated, turning former promises into clear red flags. Damond realized he was no longer fighting to preserve a relationship. He was fighting to salvage any remaining credibility on national television. He had spent 30 months playing the architect, but within 10 minutes of direct communication between Bonita and Goddess, he was completely isolated on a sidewalk with no moves left. The moment Goddess disconnected that call, Damond's public persona shattered completely. The peak of this fallout wasn't just a double breakup. It was the total public deconstruction of a manipulator on national television, establishing clear facts over the chaos Damond attempted to create. Bonita and Goddess conclusively proved that Damond maintained two parallel relationships while using Bonita's home as the backdrop for both. Both women cut off all direct contact, shutting down his solo damage control attempts and leaving him completely isolated. For the first time in Love After Lockup history, the two female leads completely dismantled a multi-year deception by forming an immediate, fact-based alliance rather than resorting to an altercation. Viewers widely noted that Damond's fatal mistake was his own overconfidence. Bringing Goddess into Bonita's actual residence provided the exact paper trail that sealed his downfall. Furthermore, his go-to defense of framing Bonita as crazy in solo confessionals dissolved the moment she calmly presented Goddess with verified timeline facts. Reality TV commentators highlighted this moment as a major shift in unscripted drama. By removing jealousy from the equation, Both women stripped Damond of every remaining piece of leverage, proving that while audiences expect relationship drama, they never respect a player who panics on the sidewalk after being outsmarted by both partners simultaneously. Damond didn't merely lose 2 relationships in a single afternoon. He publicly forfeited every shred of credibility he built over 30 months. 30 months of calculated deception, completely dismantled in less than 10 minutes of direct communication. Damond entered that day believing he held total authority over 2 separate lives, but walked away entirely isolated, stripped of his cover stories, his housing arrangement, and his credibility. Bonita and Goddess didn't just expose a double life. They permanently rewritten the playbook on how deception gets handled on national television. Now, Damond stands at a complete dead end with 0 leverage and no receipts to back up a single claim. This leaves us with the ultimate question. Once 2 women sit down, compare notes, and realize they've been systematically lied to by the exact same man, is there any path to redemption for Damond, or did he permanently burn every bridge he had left? Did Goddess make the right move by laughing in his face and riding off with Bonita, or should either woman give him a single second to explain himself? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to see where you guys stand on this. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want the rawest, fact-based commentary on all the latest drama without the fake rumors, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and drop a like on the video. With Damond now backed into a corner and scrambling for options, what desperate move is he going to pull next when the cameras start rolling again? Stay tuned, because this story is far from over.